Boca Raton, the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
If you're not happy with your investments, if you've ever tried the stock market and haven't done well, hop in the car and get to Online Trading Academy. Online Trading Academy's pro investors show you how they find the right investments. Learn current Wall Street skills about stocks, options, futures, forex, even Bitcoin. See how market timing works and how money is made in up day. Call now for a pair of tickets to a free half-day class at Online Trading Academy. Classes are all over Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Jupiter, and Port St. Lucie. Call Online Trading Academy now. Call 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510. 954-668-2510.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Ask the Experts show with local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Enjoy being educated in such topics as personal injury law, community association law, family law, bankruptcy law, along with health show topics like pain management, men's health, and dental implants. Now, sit back and enjoy today's Ask the Experts with host Steve-O.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to another Ask the Experts. Today's shows are, we have our bankruptcy show with attorney Ed Shahady, who's a little out of breath. My brother over here went up 5 flights of steps because the elevator is not working very well today. Could have been worse. You could have gotten stuck in it.
You're right.
I've gotten stuck in the elevator.
Could have been worse.
And then at our 5:30 show, we have our dental implants with our South Florida Center of Dental Implants. So we're going to talk about bankruptcy today. And if you would like, we're going to open up the phones today. I'm going to give you our phone number here. If you're considering bankruptcy, maybe you went through bankruptcy and you have some questions. Here's the number here. It's 888-565-1470. You can either listen to our show on 1470 AM or 95.3 FM. And our show's also in video today. You can go to www.radio1470.com. You can actually watch the show live. So we're here with our expert. He can't say it, but I can. Our expert, Ed Shahady, attorney Ed Shahady, and we're talking bankruptcy today. Ed, how come I never hear about foreclosure like you used to?
Well, the economy's gotten a lot better, so
okay.
There aren't as many foreclosures out there. You know, as the property values rise, people aren't necessarily forced into foreclosure. You know, back when the recession hit, back in 2008, you lose your job. Typically, you sell your house, right?
Exactly.
Get a smaller house, whatever. But if the value of your house is dropped in half, like many of them did here in South Florida, you can't leave. So a lot of people were forced into foreclosure just because the amount of money they owed was more than the value of their house.
So it's not just me. You just don't see that many foreclosures.
Right, right.
And then how about loan modifications, which I know you do?
Sure.
Do you see very many of those still?
Yeah, we still do those. Yeah, they're out there. Not as many as before. There was the HAMP program got discontinued. Right. They're not doing that anymore. But many lenders still offer their own internal program, so you can still get a loan mod.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Well, first of all, tell everybody, take a deep breath. I love this guy. I don't want anything happening to him. Tell everybody about your practice. You haven't always been in South Florida.
No, moved here 10 years ago.
You're from the South, though.
Yep, moved here 10 years ago, lived in North Carolina for 15 years and practiced there, did real estate, did some bankruptcy there. Moved here 10 years ago and actually started out here doing foreclosure on the bank side.
Okay.
For 4 years I did
So
that.
you worked for the
banks.
bank.
Yep.
He didn't really say that. He's just kidding you. Okay.
And then, well, no, I think it's good experience. I think a lot of people, it really does help, and a lot of people can appreciate that if they hire me now. If I defend for a foreclosure or
you
bankruptcy.
know about the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah, then I moved here, then went back out on my own in 2011, and then I've been doing bankruptcy and foreclosure defense and commercial litigation.
Well, here's the good news. He's always in court. He's always in court. That means people are hiring him to handle their bankruptcy. The bad news is those people who are going through bankruptcy, but maybe that's good news too, because maybe they can sleep at night now.
Yeah, it's bad news. The path to bankruptcy is typically bad news, but once you make the decision, I haven't had an unhappy client yet. It's kind of like a divorce, the same deal. You know, there's a lot of heartache and pain that leads up to it.
Yes.
Once you finally do it, I've never been divorced, but I've been told that once you finally get it done, it's a good thing. So certainly bankruptcy's, I think, the same way.
So we always put out, if you have a question, because a lot of people are kind of afraid to call. I said, if you have a question, you can also write one. I was discussing with you the top 2 questions. I didn't tell you the other one. So the number 1 question that people had was, I filed for bankruptcy. It went through. It was discharged. And then, lo and behold, I get a bill from someone that I forgot about.
Right.
What do I do with that?
What do you do? It's pretty simple. You reopen the bankruptcy. It's not a whole lot of money, a few $100s. You reopen it, and you add that debt, and you get rid of it.
Do you have to go through the same procedure as you did the first time?
Now, again,
do you have to go down there?
Well, no. I'm assuming it depends on what chapter, but I assume you're referring to a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13. But here's the important thing about it. There's one thing I got to make clear. It has to be a debt that arose
before.
Prior. Yeah. Right. So you're going to reopen the case to apply to a debt that would have gotten discharged anyways. Right. If it's a debt later, obviously you'd have to.
So are you penalized for not showing that at first?
No, you're only penalized to the extent that you have to pay to reopen the. To reopen it. Yeah.
So it can, as long as it happened before the discharge.
As long as it's a debt that would have been subject to discharge had you included it.
Right.
You just reopen it and amend.
Okay.
And that's it.
The other question that I don't know why I didn't write these down was about federal income tax when you owe the government. Can you run that through the bankruptcy?
Yes, and believe it or not, you can discharge some of that debt. If it's been, typically the rule of thumb, if it's been more than 3 years since you filed or since it was due, whichever's later, you can discharge.
But does that show any red flags, though, to the IRS?
No, there's no red flags. I mean, it's a federal. I mean, the bankruptcy's a federal statute, and the IRS. It's all the federal government. So the federal, so federal law allows you to actually discharge income taxes due to the federal government. If basically they have to have had 3 years to try to collect. Sometimes people, if you file late. Well, you can't say, well, I just filed my 2014 taxes. I want those discharged. No, if you just file, the government has to have 3 years to collect what they can. And then under bankruptcy, and the treatment varies a little different between a Chapter 13 and a Chapter 7, but the general rule is 3 years or more of collection efforts, and it can be discharged. Now, there's also, if a tax lien's been filed, that's another issue, but that can also be removed under certain circumstances, and the IRS will remove it if you ask them under certain circumstances.
Wow.
So it just depends. It typically depends on what assets you still have that the lien may attach to, even though you're discharged. So it can get complicated, but the long story short, you can discharge taxes, and also you ask, can it be run through the bankruptcy? Absolutely. You can set up a payment plan with the IRS, and you can do that directly with the IRS, or you can make that part of your bankruptcy, and so you can make it be a Chapter 13 where you make the monthly payments, And if you did that, part of your monthly payment would go towards the payment of your taxes that aren't discharged.
You know what's amazing? People still don't know the difference between 7, 11, and 13. So why don't you give like the kind of the short version of each one?
Sure. 7 is the straight bankruptcy. That's the one. It's the inexpensive one. It's where you basically walk away. You don't really want to keep anything, or anything you want to keep's exempt. For instance, your home,
right,
under homestead's exempt.
Car.
So if you don't car, well, if it's an inexpensive car, up to $1,000 in most cases, that's the most you'll get into a car. Again, there's exceptions. If you don't own a home, you can keep more of a car than $1,000 worth.
This is on Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. Well, under either of them. But the point is, under a 7, basically, if you have it's a no asset case. You have no assets, and your income is at or below the median income in your area. Those two things.
By county.
Yeah, right. So if you make at or below what the median income is, and you don't really have any assets, then a Chapter 7 straight, you just file it and you walk away from everything. A 13, if you make too much money, or if you want to keep something, a car, or your house, if you're behind, you can set up a payment plan within the Chapter 13 up to 60 months, and you can pay back debts that you owe. And the way it works is, to make it understandable, you basically are going to pay back your past due in the bankruptcy, and then you're going to continue to make your normal payment anyway. So, for instance, if let's say you're $6,000 past due on your car, and your car note every month is $500 a month. Well, 60 months, $6,000, that'd be $100 a month. So you would pay towards your car your regular $500 payment, plus an extra $100 every month to catch up.
$600 a month.
Yeah, so it gives you time to catch up. A Chapter 11, that's for business.
Is that reorganization?
Yeah, it's reorganization. 13's reorganization too. Chapter 11 is very complicated, very expensive, and it has to do with a business that wants to reorganize their debts. So that's a whole different ballgame. But it's like a Chapter 13 where you're reorganizing and you're coming up with a payment plan, but it's much more extensive, and the involvement of the court is much more extensive. In fact, they'll step in and take control of the business's bank account. But many businesses do it. It's a Chapter 11, and you reorganize, and the trustee, who's an attorney appointed by the court to look at your case, the trustee will step in and take over the business, so to speak, at least deal with the income and expenses and try to get you back on track and try to rewrite your contracts or whatever other issues you're dealing with that are causing you to go into bankruptcy.
So do they actually run your company while you're in this bankruptcy?
They have they step into your shoes, but again, they don't want to run your company into the ground. If it's a viable company and there's just there's some issues out there, then because what happens when you file bankruptcy, your creditors are prevented from taking action against you. Okay, so if you're a business, the trustee looks out for the creditors, and so you can't just keep running your business and spending money in a way that defeats the rights of your creditors. So the trustee will can step in. It all depends. Can step in and take over. Typically, the incoming and the outgoing, and as long as everything works out, you can get back on track. If there's a dispute, you might go to the judge. You might set a hearing and say, I don't like the trustee's not doing this properly. I don't like it. And so there's, but it's very complicated, and it's a whole
So you mostly do 7s and 13s.
Yeah, 7s and 13s. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So now tell everybody where your office is.
I have 2 offices, one downtown Fort Lauderdale and one right off of 95 and 595. So it's about right off the interstate.
Great location. Everybody knows where that is.
Yep. Really good.
So, so we know where you're located at now, and we're telling, because there's people who want to know, I guess this is on Chapter 7, they're writing about, everything is wiped off, just about.
Well, just about. I mean,
but your car, no, because you want to keep paying on that.
Well, it depends. That's the thing. See, if you want to keep your car, then... Well, first thing is, when you file a bankruptcy, all your debts are subject to being discharged, okay? So that would include your car. But if you want to keep your car, what you do is...
Because you would have to give the car back if you're going to...
You would, but then you can request a document called a reaffirmation agreement, which is an agreement between you and the car finance company that says even though you filed bankruptcy, you want to reaffirm this debt. And so it's a legal document. It's approved by the court. and then you just keep making payments on the car. But
Okay.
but essentially, you have to sign a document after you file the bankruptcy that, in essence, waives your right to discharge that debt, and you enter into that debt freely, and in return, you get to drive a car.
How much does bankruptcy hurt your credit, and how long is it on there for?
Well, good question. A Chapter 7, 10 years. A Chapter
Okay.
13, again, the 7 is the one you walk away. That's 10 years. A Chapter 13, when you do the payment plan, that's 7 years.
Okay.
And that is from filing. Because, again, remember, with a Chapter 13, you can do payments for up to 5 years.
Okay.
So some people are like, well, is it 7 years after I finished the last payment? No, it's from the filing. How does it affect your credit? You asked that too. Often one of the first questions I ask people is, how is your credit now? And most people, when they come to see me, they already have bad credit.
Gotcha.
So bankruptcy really won't hurt. If you already have terrible credit, it won't hurt it a lot.
Because it's already bad.
And what it will do that's good is it'll immediately increase your debt to income ratio. Because
Okay.
now when you file bankruptcy, you don't have any more debt.
Right.
And so creditors,
And that's how they figure your credit.
well,
or
that,
one of the things.
One of the things, and your payment history. Those are the
Okay.
two main things: your debt to income ratio and your payment history, and then just your income. In general, can you afford this commodity? But so your payment history, obviously, if you file bankruptcy, that's kind of shot. But the other part, the debt to income ratio, it really helps that. And more importantly, a lot of people come to me and they do these these debt consolidations and all that stuff, which have their place. The problem with the debt consolidations is that it just keeps going on and on. You see,
Right.
with bankruptcy, there's a line, there's a fresh
Exactly.
start, and everything's discharged. It's legal, it's enforceable, and you start from there and you move forward.
So we got to go to break. Whenever I do your show, I've got like thousands of things that I'm trying to think things that people would ask who are listening right now. Let's go to break, and when we come back, we have more with attorney Ed Shahady. He handles bankruptcy law. We'll be right back.
The law firm of attorney Ed Shahady thanks the Ask the Experts show for selecting the firm as one of the finest bankruptcy firms in Palm Beach and Broward County. When it comes to filing Chapter 7 or 13, you should contact the offices of attorney Ed Shahady to handle filing your bankruptcy. Why should you call him when considering Chapter 13 or Chapter 7 bankruptcy? At the law offices of Ed Shahady, you receive personal, direct service from Broward County Attorney Edward Shahady. You are not handed off to junior staff under the supervision of an attorney like large firms. Edward Shahady will personally help you through the complicated bankruptcy process. They are committed to taking a full-service, aggressive, and innovative approach to each client's unique personal and business needs, and are prepared to help stop embarrassing creditor harassment the day you hire their firm. Call them today for a free bankruptcy attorney consultation. Evening and weekend appointments and low-down easy payment plans are available upon request. Call 954-442-1000.
And we're back. I can't believe I love talking about this subject, but it's about bankruptcy, though. But at least we have the best here. And, if you'd like to make an appointment with Ed, first of all, give everybody your phone number.
Yep, it's real simple, 954-442-1000.
Oh, it is an easy number.
Yeah, easy to remember.
And you got a great website, so we got to show that off, too.
Yeah, well, it's I've got a couple. I've got a main one, Shahady-law.com, my last name, -law. And then I have a specific bankruptcy website, too, that's like a landing page, a one-page website for bankruptcy.
I got to tell you, first of all, don't ever be embarrassed if you have to declare bankruptcy. It used to be long ago kind of like a taboo. People were, but then you see, President Trump went through bankruptcy.
Well, yeah,
and sometimes you get in trouble, and you know what? This is a way that, shame on you, but we're going to give you another shot. Now, I had heard that when you declare bankruptcy, that it's a little easier getting credit because they know you can't file bankruptcy on them anymore.
Right.
Is that true or no?
You'd think it would be. It is, but it isn't. I mean, it depends on what you mean by getting credit. I mean, you'll get credit card offers right away, but they'll be very high interest. So credit, you got to pay a higher rate of interest in the beginning. But if you get a couple credit cards and take out a car loan the first 2 or 3 years, you can build your credit back up pretty substantially within 2 or 3 years after your bankruptcy. And again, if your credit's really bad, it's a quicker way up than if you just, don't do anything, because all that stuff stays there.
But you know what? I don't know, but it's gotta be hard to sleep at night when you got bill collectors out the yin-yang. You don't know how you're going to make your next payment. And, some people say, no, I don't want to, throw all this debt away. I made it. Sometimes that's just not true. To me, it works better. Throw it all out the window, start your life over. You'll be able to sleep at night. And I've had 6 or 7 friends, and they said it's painless.
It is. It's
not anything like they thought it was going to be.
Right. You know what it is? Nobody cares as much about your finances as you do. People fill it out and they get all worried and they think nobody cares. I mean, well, they care, but the point is the trustee, that's the attorney appointed by the court. Well, first of all, you don't even go in front of a judge on a regular bankruptcy unless something weird happens.
Right.
So all you do is you appear once in court with me, and we discuss your petition with a trustee. Again, the trustee is hired to look at your petition and try to figure out if there's any assets that may be accessible so that the trustee can sell those assets to and pay your creditors. And if I do my job right, it should be simple. If there's an issue, I'm going to tell you, hey, this may come up. Be aware of it. This is an issue we have to deal with. But by and large, again, if I do my job right, you should go in there and you should be prepared for every question. And then that's it. And I can't tell you how many people,
and if the bill collectors are calling you, now you can do you just give them your name now? You take care of it?
What I do is I offer a payment plan because under Chapter 7, I can't file the petition until you pay the entire fee.
Right, yeah, because you would become a creditor then.
Exactly. But I offer a payment plan, and I tell people if they make a payment and they stick with it, then I can take the creditor phone calls. So, so I oftentimes ask people, what's going on? Are you getting, bombarded by your creditors? If you want to do a payment plan, there's an advantage there that I can take the calls.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But it takes so much pressure off of you. Yeah. And it is people aren't going to make fun of you. They're not going to look at you any different. You would be surprised the people who have declared bankruptcy. Now, if you owe $2,000 or $3,000, I would not declare bankruptcy.
Right. No.
But if you've got a lot of debt and it doesn't look like, that light at the end of the tunnel is not a train coming, you can handle it for them.
Yeah, sure.
And plus, you got the personality for it. Because you're very laid back, and you're good at explaining things.
Well, thanks.
And I think that's really what's important. And this is basically all you do.
Yeah, well, I do debt,
in the
defense,
area of debt.
Yep.
You don't do criminal law.
No.
You don't do personal injury.
Nope.
I know you don't do family law.
I don't do any of that stuff. No, I do civil litigation.
This is basically what you do.
Yeah, the bankruptcy.
And I've always kind of made fun of attorneys who had like 7 shingles out there. You can't do them all and then I don't think so, and do your client right. And you are kind of a one-on-one. You take care of everybody, basically.
Yeah. No, I typically answer. I have someone to answer the phones, but I try to answer it.
But you're the one who's going to go to the bankruptcy court with them.
Yeah, and I handle. I have a paralegal that prepares documents, but it's a lot of one-on-one. I've had a lot of clients that's part of the reason they hired me is because I'm accessible and I'm there and I'm available.
How do you've got to know all their creditors.
Sure.
That's very important.
Right.
But someone who's been going this 10, 15, 20 years, how do they know who all their what if someone's from 12 years ago?
Simple. The credit report. We run a credit report.
Oh, so everybody who's on the credit report.
Right. And then some people aren't on there, like medical bills, but people usually know that. And again, I tell people, and then what happens is we prepare the petition, and then we have them review it to make sure that all the creditors are there. So most people know. It does happen. Sometimes they forget to add somebody, but it doesn't happen very often. It's not as common as you might think.
Okay, so now you also handle businesses too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know, the economy seems like it's doing better.
Sure.
Are you seeing any less businesses declaring bankruptcy?
Yeah, no, the economy's doing a lot better. People have a lot more money to spend, and real estate's doing better. Yeah, no, it's...
They've lowered their taxes.
Yeah.
So that's got to help. But you do handle businesses for
Sure.
bankruptcy.
Sure.
Okay.
But again, typically a straight bankruptcy, a liquidation. If it's an 11, I do those. I typically pair up with an attorney that specializes in 11s, because again, that's a complex and expensive.
I know
venture.
some bankruptcy attorneys do get into helping you with your credit. Do you do that at all?
I have done it. I mean, it's the things you can do for people's credit, they can do it themselves. It's
okay. I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah. So it's really not. But again, these credit repair companies, I mean, they do a good job. They have a system down. Basically, you dispute the debts. There's ways that, so I help people sometimes. It just depends, but it's not something that I market or advertise.
Okay. So again, we're still back to mainly bankruptcy, loan mods out there.
Yeah.
What else? No, tell me any other areas?
Well, foreclosures. I mean, I handle foreclosure defense, do a lot of that. And then just general civil litigation, business litigation, and real estate litigation. So if there's a dispute regarding any type of business dispute or real estate dispute, I handle that as well.
Okay, so you do contracts also?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to know everything that you do. Now, if do you do anything with the IRS?
No, again, I have, but
because there's some law firms that if the IRS is coming after you, garnishing wages, there's some bankruptcy attorneys that get into, I guess, tax relief, but you don't do any of that.
I don't do that. Again, that's kind of an area that there's a lot of gray areas there, and there's a lot of, I don't know of any attorneys that do it, but there's a lot of companies that are unscrupulous. I mean, again,
I know
that's one of those deals where you can make a deal with the IRS yourself. Where an attorney can help you, or an agent, is if they can show that the government can't collect from you, then the government will give you they'll do a loan, they'll do a forgiveness because they can't get the money. But if the government can get the money from you, I don't care what these companies say. You're not, you know what I mean? You're not.
And that's really why I asked you, because you see all these and you don't know what's real.
You don't, and that's what it comes down to. And they say we helped this guy save $100,000. It's true, but I'm guarantee you, whoever that was, he didn't have anything, and the government determined he wasn't going to have anything anytime soon. I mean, the government's in no hurry to collect.
Right?
They can wait. They're not like a regular creditor. They can wait as long as they need to get paid.
You're right.
Yeah.
So we only have a minute or so left. Why should I retain you as my bankruptcy attorney?
Well,
you can pat yourself on the back.
Well, I mean, I have 25 years legal experience, and doing bankruptcies for at least since I did them previously in North Carolina. I've been doing them here for a number of years, so I have
do you
a lot
charge
of experience.
To have someone sit down with you?
No, I give a free consultation. I do the payment plans, and I'm just a nice guy, and I agree with you, and I think you're not just saying. I mean, I can explain stuff. I mean, it's a difficult concept. A lot of these things are difficult, these legal concepts, and I think I do a real good job of simplifying it.
People don't know that Ask the Experts, our show here, also runs in like 10 other cities on the weekend. So I've spent a lot of time. What's a little sad is bankruptcy is a hotter topic than personal injury is.
Yeah.
Which it was always the other way around.
Right.
It's a big topic.
Yeah.
Anyhow, give out your phone number one more time.
It's real simple, 954-442-1000.
And Ed's going to be back with us again next month on our Ask the Experts. Ed, I love having you on the show.
Glad to be here.
And we're going to go to break. When we come back, we have our periodontist on our show. We'll be right back.